How is everybody?
Good.
We have a bit to update you on. Obviously, we had a week off because we had our PI planning, and that finishes roughly the same time. You thought I was having the night off? No, that's Luke. That's Luke. Luke won't be here today. He's got the night off. So I believe his absence. I think Red Pill can give us a bit of an update on the product side of things.
Yeah, so last week we had PI planning day, meaning we basically planned the next 6 weeks of work. We want to get in what is priority for us. Just for the next builds that's coming, I think we'll push it. I hope we still push it up this week. But yeah, we'll let you know. The things that will be there is the SkyBox fixes. So basically, you will be able to generate your SkyBox, and then other people will see that same SkyBox as well. We're still fixing a couple of things, but that should be solved by then. Also, the CitiXens, we're doing some last fixes there. We saw some couple of mismatches that we had, so that is being fixed, and it should also be in there pretty soon, either in the next build or one build later. So one more thing we're working on at the moment is adding analytics, basically more advanced analytics, which will allow us to have a better picture of what people are doing in the vault, what experiences they like the most. But one thing that it will also give us is that we can do certain quests. For example, we can say, okay, we reward certain people that spend X amount in the vaults or that do certain activities. So this will open up a lot of things that we can work with to increase the engagement in the vault. So I'm pretty excited about that one. And the next one, we're working in the background on the meta credits, basically on the credit system that we want to have and the economy. That is also almost finalized for the first version anyways. And very interesting thing that this will enable things like treasure hunts. So that's one thing we're looking into and that we want to launch as well in this PI. And I think, yeah, everyone will be excited about that because it's going to be, a lot of fun to find treasures. And yeah, but we'll keep you posted on how exactly that will work. Next one, WebGL builds. We're working on builds that you can of the vaults that you can use in the browser. We're very early in that one because there are a lot of things that we need to consider. So this is not something that we push out anytime soon, but it's just something we're exploring. If we can't get like the whole vault build into the web, which is quite unlikely because of performance reasons at the moment, what we're still trying to do is get specific experiences in there, and the goal would be to just make it easier to share experiences in the vaults or events, and kind of bridge that gap a little bit better between the platforms and the web experience. Other than that, we will have an update of the quarters, and the artists did a bit of work on improving them and a couple of spaces. One more thing we also are working on is enabling the SkyBox in the districts, because right now you can only in template 2 see a SkyBox, and we want to make sure that in all districts you can actually see that SkyBox and you can use it for events and stuff like that. That's really important, especially for things like the DJ event. If we have a SkyBox there in the area where you have the dance floor, we can very easily change the theme of that space, and we can have different artists and genres that match with those themes. So that's really something that I was looking into. Events, just getting more events into the vault. If it's DJ events or other kinds of events, we're really trying to increase the frequency of those things. So yeah, just more reasons also to just come in there with friends and hang out and see what things are happening. So that's also one of the focuses. That's less of a product focus, but more on the marketing side. But obviously, the product, we're working around features that will support that case. And the one more overarching thing that we're working on is generally the user journey. Obviously, we're still not like super polished on that side, like how you onboard users and things like that, how you go through the logins, how you go into the vault, what you can actually do in the vault if you're a new user, a lot of things that users might be confused about. So those are also things we're looking at, exactly all the steps in user journey, how we can improve that, how we can make it easier, understandable for people, what they can do and what's in it for them, basically. And we're doing that process across all the products. And on the web portal for the vaults, we are very close to launching the first version of the AI NPCs. So this will enable anyone to create their own characters with a backstory, and you can explore other characters that other people created. And that will be the first step towards those AI characters that we can then use in the vault. So the first version of that will be in districts, where district owners will be able to just choose one of their created characters and let them basically stand in front of the district or inside the district, where people that come into the board can engage with them. And I don't know if you've seen that Connect presentation from Mark Zuckerberg. They're also focusing very heavily on AI NPCs, or basically just AI characters. They showed Snoop Dogg and some celebrities, and they mentioned something like AI Studio where you can create those characters. So that's very similar, like that kind of user or use case that we're working on, and we will have something very soon actually for people to try out. Yeah, I think that's it from my side. Maybe Phil, you want to share some updates, or Pete on the KOG side?
So for Quest, if you're playing, you may have noticed that we've added new rewards. So now you'll be able to not only earn Quest KOGs, but we added the Beta Slammer and packs. So now's a good time to start playing. That's it for games, but we may have more news feed next week. Pete?
Yeah, that's it. I think from Cox. It's Cox Quest, I guess. I mean, I got other stuff, but I can't say what we're working on right now. Unless you want to share, Phil.
No. We'll save it. But yeah, new rewards.
Awesome.
Only a few of those what do you call these beta slammers and packs have come out. I mean, last I checked, there were only three beta slammers actually went out, which was surprisingly very low. So I think the odds are higher right now. Oh wait, four beta slammers have come out. So there's 26 beta slammers left, and still there's 10 packs. No one's touched the packs yet.
It's gonna be Renee.
So for the people that are listening that haven't played before, do you want to just give people a 30-second summary of what they'd have to do to be able to qualify to get there?
Yeah, sure. So to get NFT rewards from Quest, first thing you're gonna need to do is sign up for an RFOX ID and connect your Wax wallet, and then you can download the game, connect your wallet, and you'll have to go through the first 240 levels to unlock characters, and then you'll prestige. Once you prestige, there are rewards at every 10th level. So right now, each week you'll be able to earn up to 36 NFTs. And that right now, that could be any one of the Dragon's Cogs that you'll be able to Choob and eventually craft into Vault pets. And then, like we mentioned before, there's also the beta slammer and packs. Pete, what packs do we have in there now?
I basically collect 2 mega chests, 1 third edition mega chest and 1 CPAC mega chest. So the
So those are
contents of the
collectors.
mega chest are in there.
Oh,
Those are collector's
nice.
boosters, yes, not the small ones. It's there's I think 3 collector starters, 1 collector booster, and 1 topper up for grabs for each CPAC and third edition.
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, if you want min ones, then hope you get CPAC, because I think there's a lot of min ones still left in CPAC. A bit difficult to complete tubes though for CPAC because of the low supply. But yeah, min ones.
So and it's all free. So you just have to level up those characters. If you have COGs of the characters in the game, they will give you bonuses so you can level up faster. And get through the levels easier. And then you just have to prestige, and then you'll start earning your NFT rewards.
Awesome, thank you. So that is good news. Lala, anything you want to cover from your side?
Hello. Not much to cover from my side. It's just that before the end of today, we'll be doing the winners draw. So again, it's for KOGs Quest. Every week we try to have at least a leaderboard challenge for everybody. So we'll be drawing the last week and this week's leaderboard challenges. Apart from that, I guess from my end would be we'll be having a party next week in the vault again. We will be having a DJ invite. So stay tuned for more updates for that. We do have a few milestones we like to celebrate with everybody, and we want to test out a few things together. So once those dates are confirmed, I'll let everybody know.
Awesome, thank you.
I see Adelera posting that C11 may have a thing or two to announce. You want to take the floor?
Yeah, why not? So we've just want to give everyone a heads up. We've locked in a date to officially launch, which I can't remember, but give me a second. Where did you post it, Jay? The 10th. So next Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever time zone you're in, we'll be officially launching and dropping our token and dropping announcements and kind of getting everything kicking off with the DAO. We finally locked in all the projects, which was a fucking task, but we got there in the end. And yeah, so kind of anyone that's been paying attention knows already, but anyone that hasn't, pay attention because it's about to get exciting over at C11. I don't really think there's
Nice.
anything else about Jay or Parry. If any of them are here, no. Jay, anything else? No.
No, all good.
Awesome. Congratulations on pulling that together. It's good, and it's going to be great to see it sort of grow and unfold, and it'll only get better and better as we head towards better markets as well, which will be great. I've got a couple more questions. I know are we gonna jump in a short while, I think, and have a wander around.
Yeah, we can definitely jump in together.
Yeah, I think awesome. So updates from my side as well. We've had a couple of questions come in that I've just sort of seen as well in relation to games and events. So I think we just sort of touched on that. The question was, are we likely to see more games and events in the vault anytime soon? So as stated, Lala just explained that there'd be something coming up very shortly, so stay tuned for that. But yes, that's something that we work on continually. What we really try to do, as stated, is get as many people and get you guys to come in and test stuff and make sure that the builds are stable. And I think you would have noticed that the last release or two have been a lot more stable and much better. So as stated, we're starting to roll some of that out. There's a number of different events, first of all, in addition to people that are actually building stuff out and have submitted stuff for approval. So yes, so much happening on that side. And obviously, we'll try and scale up those events, get bigger and bigger as we go forwards. As far as the games and stuff are concerned, yes, we've got games coming in, and we've also got obviously games there now. So as Red Pill mentioned in the earlier part of the description, we also are working on the economy side of things as well, and some of that is related to getting people to come back in and to participate as well. So yes, that's important. I'll save the other one for a minute. Artesh has said, what other metaverse gaming crypto projects that RFOX isn't doing but should be doing? I can open the floor to that. Do you, Phil? Do you have anything that you want to comment on there from a gaming perspective that you're seeing?
Well, I mean, a lot of the other quote unquote metaverses are really just, standalone games. They're not really metaverses as we like to think of them in RFOX, which is a fully realized world that has, different experiences, places where you can live, socialize. That's there aren't many. I don't think there are any that are really like that. So, I mean, I think the question is should be changed around. Is like there's a lot. What are these metaverses doing that RFOX is like? What could they be doing better?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've sort of been talking to a lot of people recently, and one of the things that I've noticed is there's a very similar theme. I won't mention names, but you would all notice that effectively take a couple of reskinned games, and they make 4 or 5 games, and they put those games together, and then people come in and play those games, and then you can buy items from the games or use items in the games, and it's a tried and tested formula. I think there's 4 or 5 projects that are in the top few hundred that do the same thing, but it's very different to what we're doing. So if I was to answer your first question, definitely seeing people focused on the community side of playing a game as a group for like tournaments sort of thing. But that's the whole premise of the project. So that's something that we can obviously start to do now, and we've got games coming in, so that allows us the opportunity to do that. But it's not something that we're not aware of. But when you've written what are metaverse gaming crypto projects not doing that RFOX is doing, I think that's a lot. So that goes back to Phil's point. I think we're not seeing the same exact combination. We're talking to some bigger parties that we're working with now that sort of have a look at what we're doing and are a bit surprised at, I guess, how far along we are or what we're actually combining together. So most projects have a very simple or singular focus, and they go very, very deep on that single focus, whereas as a platform, you sort of go wider. So for us, it's going to be more exciting to see a lot of those people bring their offerings into our platform. So that's exciting. So I think it's kind of different. I think, that's a criticism we copped along the way of you should focus on just one thing and do it really well. And you sort of say, well, we're building a platform. And now that that's coming to fruition, you've got a lot of conversations going on where people are saying, well, we do one thing really well, and it would be great to bring that to you or work with you on showcasing that. And having the platform allows us to be able to do that. So I think that's a big advantage. Red Pill or Urban Gecko, Pete, do you want to add anything there?
Yeah, maybe one thing that I see obviously some others are doing are like if you look at Decentraland or some other metaverse projects, like you see that they have a web experience. plenty of them, like Spatial, on Cyber, that have an experience in web. So I think that's something that we made a decision initially, and now we want to focus VR first. That's where our VR experience is obviously better than some of those others, because that's our focus, right? But obviously, it makes it a bit harder to onboard users on that platform. That's why we're also exploring now how we can enable that in web, or at least to on-ramp those users. So that's maybe one thing where we have catch-22, but a bit harder to reach us compared to some other platforms. But once you're there and you have that full experiences, it's probably better. So that's one point. The other point is, I think, what is really important is that a lot of crypto projects are sometimes not listening to the right audience when they want to build the product. So it's important to listen to everyone, obviously, but you always need to think about what each of what the audience has, like what the main agenda is. And the thing is, often if you try to make a crypto project fit perfectly into a crypto narrative, you will make it in a way that it's either not sustainable or maybe it's not really engaging, really just focusing on one part of the cryptoverse, but it's not actually bringing in normal users and not really growing the user numbers. So it's very important to listen to everyone, but specifically to the power users that actually love your product, that use it every day, that engage with it, and make sure that that it's really targeted to a large audience that actually comes in. And because the thing is, even for the audience that is more focused on, let's say, NFTs and those aspects, will be beneficial to the whole group when we gain more users and when we get retention into the vault. So that's the thing that we I think focus on more recently, and I think that's going to be important. I don't know. I'm going to say something to that, Danny, but it's just kind of a thing that I see sometimes in crypto projects.
Yeah, it's a good. I can answer it by also posing a question, because the other question that I got sent was at the stage that RFOX is at the moment. Would you prefer that a big brand was onboarded from the traditional world, or a big brand onboarded from the Web3 world? It's a good question. Ultimately, as Red Pill just said, you can easily get carried away and build towards the wrong type of narrative, or build in a direction that's not going to serve the longer term focus or benefit of a project, and that's largely led by what can we do for short term gains as opposed to something that's going to be sustainable longer term. But in relation to that question, it's a kind of a pointed question. I'm kind of half on the fence as to what to answer. I'm sure I'd love to hear from what the rest of the team say, but ultimately, I think at different stages of our journey, we would have answered differently to that as well, because as we've said, you have to actually sort of build something that will gain traction, and then brands will be attracted to it. If you've got brands coming in before you've got any traction at all, then it's probably largely due to the fact that they're being paid. So the thing is that as far as what type of brand, it's just really important that whichever brands do come in, and when they come in, that they can sort of bring more exposure or help us to get to our goals quicker. The conversations that we're having at the moment are much more with brands that are not on the crypto side, but are very much technically aligned with what we're doing. So I think as you get closer to a proper product that you can launch, or a platform that you can launch, you talk to different people. And as far as which side of the fence, as we know, people from the Web3 side get the space. They understand how to build generally in the space. So that's really important. And then the brands that are traditional big brands, I don't see those really coming in with any purpose or intent until you've really got wide audience traction. But my thoughts remain unchanged in relation to the Web3 brands are going to grow and grow very, very fast once those product market fits have been found. And I think that Web2 brands will quickly try and acquire a lot of these before they get too big, because if they've got a good formula, they can sort of bring some people into their starving customer bases and help to grow and sustain their products and remain relevant. Anyone else want to share some views on the brand side of things?
Sure.
No?
I think I'm gonna share a little bit what happened at the Malaysia Digital Content Expo that I was invited for. I'm gonna share a link to an article of what exactly happened. So, last year we already were in contact with people in Malaysia as well on metaverses. And a lot of the times, like last year, it was really hard for people to grasp like what are the possibilities. And in terms of this year, everybody was jumping on board. We actually have grants now and students jumping into metaverse testing. So in terms of what projects should be doing now, or what it's lacking, is really the understanding of building. That's what I noticed. A lot of the times, like the team has mentioned before, is you build one metaverse and that's it. Like when I went there, there was like one metaverse for holiday or one metaverse to show one part of Malaysia, and that's it. And no one was interconnected. And the goal here is to make things super easy. And I think that's where we're hitting. And that's what I enjoy seeing. Like we have DeFi bears testing everything out. We have other content creators that are testing our SDKs and looking at our build. And there's so much potential and there's so much collaboration in what we are doing right now that it's always getting me excited. Like I was messaging Phil on my holiday and like, oh, there's so many things I want to bring in and what can we do and stuff like that, because we don't want to gatekeep things coming in, and that is something that is really important. Like a lot of the metaverses that come into the industry sometimes feel like they are building walls around themselves, and that's really scary for a lot of people who want to come in. So for me, yeah, I mean, read the article, see what people are going about, because I feel Asian countries now are really into this. I'm not exactly sure how fast the adoption will be, but it's definitely heading there way faster than last year. So yeah, that's just my take.
Yeah, it's a good point, and that's what we keep hearing as well, and it sort of ties into Artesh's question of could you explain preferred methods and ways new users could spend their money in the vault and get their money into their from their bank accounts in. So we've always said since day one that we really want to focus on the platform, and as far as payment rails and stuff are concerned, we have the luxury of obviously payment companies. There's a lot of payment companies out there that want to sort of partner with platforms, especially if there's a potential that they can earn some revenue or provide rails or ramps. It's not something that you want to get deeply involved in, due to the fact that there are lots of legislative hoops and requirements and licenses and stuff like that. So I would say in relation to that, yes, once that the economy piece is released, that would allow us to provide more detail. But longer term, if you're looking at different countries and different currencies and all the rest of it, the preferred method is to definitely work with someone who can provide those services. And like I say, there's no shortage of people that would want to do that. But simplifying things to a few clicks and to Lala's point of building as well, it has to be that for the user and also the builder. And it's not there yet. It's convoluted and complicated, and we're working on a couple of solutions to help roll things up to at least make them as simplified as they can be. Because if you have a look at a journey that a creator goes through in this space, and as Lala mentioned, I mean, DeFi Bears having commented in here is just one example, but ultimately there's a lot of people that have to go over here to do one thing, over there to do another thing, and you really don't know who you should be using, what tools you should be using, how you should be combining things. And there's a steep learning process, but there's also a steep trust process involved as well. And what we've seen is a ton of projects. And if you're on crypto Twitter, you would see, or crypto X now, you'd see that there's a lot of people that have had a project blow up in their face because one of the components or one of the parts or the people or the contracted parties didn't deliver or went bust or rug pulled or something. And it's difficult. It's really, really difficult. And the quicker you can sort of hide that stuff from people, in the sense that they don't need to worry about that they can go to one place and they can make it as simple as possible. It's still going to be some period of time away before it's a one-click type of thing for most things, but we are definitely heading in the right direction, and we'll definitely get there. But it's going to take a considerable amount of time, and I would assume that adoption as well as product market fit for most things would have been reached before we get down to that one-click proponent, because people are not spending huge amounts of time and money trying to make the process simpler if they haven't actually found a product market fit for their piece. So we're seeing that as we're talking to more and more people that might want to put tools in or put something into the vault. You're seeing that they're struggling to find users or to sell at the prices they have to sell to maintain feasibility and all the rest of it. So it's going to be interesting to see. And just before we jump into the vault, so Lala's kindly left a link there so that you can have a read of what she was talking about. And I know that you've got to do a draw first as well. There was one more question. Pete, is Pete still there? Pete, can you handle the Pico question?
Okay, hold on. Let me
I can
scroll.
read it out. Yeah, I can read it out for you if you like.
Yeah.
Sure. Which one is
Thank
that?
you.
It's from VALT. So SideQuest is available on Pico, it seems. Does that mean the Vault automatically will be available on Pico? Or would you have to adapt to the hardware of Pico to have a smooth running app on the Pico?
Yeah. So the Pico and the Quest have fundamentally different hardware, and different hardware means different drivers, and different drivers also mean different software. So the current client for the Vault is only built on the Quest SDK, so it won't be compatible to the Pico. You don't have to try it, but I've already done it. I've tried it, and it doesn't work. It doesn't even boot up because the hardware, the software doesn't support whatever hardware that's running on. So in order to do that, we would actually have to create another path and compile another APK for Pico specifically, which currently is not our focus because I think in the whole company, I'm the only one that has a Pico.
Yeah, and
but in 9 days' time, the Quest 3 would come out. So we can definitely test it out. But we don't think there would be an issue because the same compile for Quest 2 should work for Quest 3 as well because it's the same SDK.
Yeah, Luke will probably add a bit to that because I know that he wants to tackle the 2.3. I think he's touched on it last week as well, but we'll wait for him as well. But because it'll be good timing, it'll be a couple of days before by the time we come around to the next AMA. But just on that as well, as you guys know, we've been pedal to the metal to get to rounding out the platform as best we can, and we know there's a lot of work still to go. But ultimately, what's really important is when people say, will it be available for this and for that and for different versions and on different mediums, what we really need to do at this particular point in time is sort of get the stability there, get those basic tools in the creator's hands, and we need to really sort of work with parties on establishing the product market fit and getting people in and getting that retention and user stickiness, because there's no point adding 400 layers to something until you've proven that you've got the recipe right and the formula right for getting people in and getting them to come back and getting them to stay engaged. And in fairness, we haven't had a push to really try and do that. So now we're just starting to look at activating these events, and we're starting to integrate more creators and getting more submissions. So now it's a matter of saying, right, let's get that going, get that feedback, monitor the data really closely, and that's going to tell us and help us to determine whether there's enough of a demand in a certain area, as opposed to spending 2 months on adding something new that detracts from us polishing something further that's already got a bit of mileage or some real potential. There you go. So one more question: Will RFOX help or plan to help users rent their KOGs Choobs? So when the economy stuff comes in, that will when we start to sort of roll that out, that'll sort of give you some wider context. But ultimately, again, once people have the creator tools at their fingertips and they're able to integrate stuff, that's when you'll get much more utility for things like KOGs and Choobs. So that's kind of exciting once we can allow people to come in. And again, we were talking to a number of creators some time back that might have had a game or might have had an idea, and they've got no interest in doing the NFT side of things. So our goal was to always try and encourage people coming in to utilize what we already have. So lots of potential there for sure. So just stay tuned for the economy stuff to come out. Your profile looks kind of like your citizen farted, Urban Gecko. There you go. The band has already begun.
It's like
No,
because
he
I
did.
know
That's why it's green.
it looks like that. No, because now Discord has that thing where you can animate. Like I saw Pete's version, and he's like a chest, and I was like, look at yours. It looks like it farted. Very interesting one, Gecko.
Oh, there you go. There you go. The old Dutch oven avatar.
I paid for mine, by the way. While I was on the call with Gecko. So
it's pretty cool, actually. When's my one, Satoshi? I've got mine. Mine's ready. So the only thing that's stopping me is I want to wait till everybody's got their hands on theirs, and then I'll reveal mine. I'm excited with what I got. You're going to do a draw now, Lala.
Yeah, they're going to be doing two separate weeks. So we have one for last week and then one for the week before, because we missed that for the last AMA. So I'm just going to show you guys my screen. As mentioned in our announcement, we will be doing one that is selected by a random wheel. Surprisingly, Pete isn't here. I'm not here either. I think all of us are not in
no,
these 2 weeks.
I
Slacker!
didn't play last week. I was slacking last week. I own that.
All right, so I'm gonna shuffle this. So the thing is, not the first 3, but the last 3 will be winning some packs. So I'm just gonna shuffle this to be fair to everybody. I'm gonna do it 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna be rolling this 15 times. It would be funny if like Shay wins for both weeks, because I know she's in the list for both. It's not a winner. Oops. Wait.
So this is what? First out will win.
No, first out does not. Last out.
Oh, last out. Okay, so it's still survivor, right? Okay.
Yep, still survivor. But you have to be the last one. You don't want to be the first one for this one. You're gonna.
What kind of cheating is this? If that person lands on it twice.
Yeah, that's why he's removed. So it's like really not his luck.
I miss the old days of lucky.
Yeah, his internet connection is terrible today.
Yeah, he was.
He tried to.
And he robots it out.
He's in the boonies today.
Yeah.
Hey, was Ben or is it different Ben?
It's different Ben. It's the guy that we always meet in the vault that's also very bald.
Oh, nice.
And he's always like singing, and I'm like, hey, I know you. He's quite funny. He comes in at really odd times.
So he comes into the vault as Ben as well.
Yep, he does.
Oh, because that's the RFOX ID name, right?
Yeah. And do you know that when
okay.
we were testing out our citizens, he was actually in there, and he was like, "Lala, I hear you." Like, yeah, you can't see me, bro. Yeah, he tends to come in like around 3 or 5. He's a cool guy. Really
Were you testing that new camouflage feature?
Yeah. Hiding my horns. Oh, before I forget,
Don't start with the horns.
remember tomorrow's your last day to stake your tubes. So whoever who hasn't staked them, please do it ASAP. And those who want to get
That would be
your
Micah. That would be
yes,
Micah.
it's less than 24 hours away
We're gonna do it
before we
now.
close. You haven't done it? Oh my god!
Just wait for tomorrow, Micah. I mean, you won't forget.
Some of us
from
do work, you
tomorrow.
know. Lala.
I reminded everybody on like first day. Oh, okay. Last 5. So the last 2 out, and the last 3 will be the winners for last week. Oh, the week before. There you go.
Whose name should I say?
Ah,
Let's
the
go with
final
Pee-wee.
4. Pee-wee. All right, so we have 3 winners. Pee-wee is a winner. All right, so the last names on this wheel are the winners for the week before last.
Is Henry on here? No, she's not.
No, he's not. He hasn't.
But yeah, congrats.
Yeah, and then for last week, we have 10 winners, and we are just going to be grab battle. Last 3 to survive will win. May the odds be in your favor. We're all not here, man. Who shall we cheer for? Every time we cheer for someone, they die. So I'm going to keep quiet then.
I think Julian
Let's cheer
looks
for Zizi
evasive.
Nova.
I wanted to say that, and I was like, okay, never mind. I'm going to say it.
Oh damn, Julian's big and gonna explode.
Oh,
That was massive.
oh, that was brutal.
Oh my
Well,
god.
if you want to go, that's the way to do it.
Ah, there we go. The last 3 survivors. We've got
But
them.
wait, who's gonna be the final? The winner of the winners.
Oh.
My
Ooh.
money's on
Zorro.
Your money's on. Oh, your money's on. The moment you
on
say it,
Lotto.
right?
Loro.
They're gonna slip and break their neck on a piece of slime.
Oh, he
Come
missed
on.
that.
Oh, dodged it.
Oh,
Oh, dodged
yep,
it.
they're a winner.
Oh, you are
Oh,
right.
boom.
There we go.
Psychic.
You're
I
great
know
winner
who's gonna
again.
win. Grubs.
Ta-da! So congratulations, and don't worry, I have the details of your wallets, and they will be in your wallet by this week. So stay tuned for the next leaderboard challenge, but for this week, make sure to play KOGs Quest and get the new rewards.
Yeah, you can get way better rewards just by playing.
You could get Grubby, the cute little critter.
Who needs to win packs from Grub and win it from the game itself?
Yeah, just keep on playing.
And then, Pete, one last one. Will scroll crafting information released soon?
Yes, I think in the next week or 2, I guess. I'm gonna leave it to Lala. I think I've already. I mean, the articles and all the details have already been finalized.
So yes, it's really soon. So once that happens, of course, it'll be on our socials and also Discord channels, and we'll definitely be talking about it for the next AMA.
Awesome.
Can I give them a hint? Can I give them a hint for that?
I don't know. Sure, why not? I don't know what your hint is.
No. Yeah, okay. I won't divulge much, but scroll crafting would basically we're introducing a new thing called second level materials. So yeah, if you play gaming if you play any games that have crafting, then you'll be familiar with that.
I bet you Shay's like working.
Okay,
hard
Atesh,
right now.
I'll take a look at your trade.
Oh,
Man.
the scared Batman voice came out. I'm like, whoa.
Batman.
It's like
in the
static
cupboard.
and everything.
Batman hiding in a bat fan.
Alrighty, so I will be jumping into the vault. I am on build 99. I'm not sure about you guys, but I'll see you there.
Yes.
Oh wait, we need 99. I'm way ahead.
If you're on a head build, just use the RPM avatar. Then everyone can see.
Just don't use your
I don't want
citizen.
to use.
You'll be invisible. You'll be totally
I want to be Sir
invisible.
Feathers.
Oh lordy.
Bow
can't say
before
mine.
Sir Feathers.
You just want to tickle people with your feathers.
Yeah.
If you haven't if you haven't been in, guys, and you don't have it, download it on your mobiles and jump in and have a run around with us. But if you have got it on your headset, then jump in. We'll head in there. Head in there now. I don't know which.
Oh,
Some of you might keep the line thing on cast.
Yeah, my mobile's on 99. I'll jump on my mobile.
Yeah.
Okay,
I will be
awesome.
All
casting.
peasants.
All right, we will see you guys in there. And for those of you who we don't speak to again, have a fantastic week. Thank you for joining.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. See
Later,
you.
everybody.
Yeah.